Good morning, my union brothers and sisters. It is so nice to see a hall filled with union people. We need to make sure that we fill the streets with union people. I am so proud to be here today. I am so glad to meet a leader like John. I am so glad to meet his fellow administration. I'm so glad to be here with all of you. Secretary Treasurer Garcia is with me today. His brother is one of your members. Adrian Garcia, he's a conductor on the Queens lines. Both Carlos and myself are newly elected leaders for the Public Employees Federation, but we're not new to the union movement. We basically were elected because our members suffered bullying by the governor and succumbed to a bad contract pattern that I hope will not befall you. We were anti-contract, and it was not because we wanted our members to be laid off. It was because you should never negotiate with a gun to your head, and that's exactly what was happening. We needed to have a strong union leadership team in place to fight that, but we also needed to have members that would stand strong and wait and stand together. So I know right now this is a very difficult time for you, and I know with your previous contract you still have not recovered from what you had to put up with when you stood strong, but I'm telling you that what you did then was really a signal to the labor movement. And I know that it was hard for you, but you really are the hallmark of what labor activists are supposed to be, so I just think you should give yourself a round of applause. We've only been in office since August, but since that time, we've been traveling around the state, going to the job sites where our members are. Our offices are in Albany, upstate New York, but we pledged not to sit at a desk in Albany. That's not what union leaders need to do. They need to be out there with their members and letting management see the face of the larger union. That's what we do. That's what we will continue to do. Some of my staff, are complaining and saying, you need to be here in Albany more. No, that's why I hired them. They need to run the office. Carlos and I and the fellow leaders need to be out talking to the members and showing management that we're going to stand up for our workers. What's been so disturbing, though, while I've been out talking to my members, is that they're beaten down. They're not respected. They feel as though their work doesn't matter. And that shouldn't be. I represent 54,000 public service workers that are professional, scientific, and technical workers. They, like you, make the city and the state function. We are the union that cares for and about the community, and unions together care about the community on a daily basis. And one of the things that I am going to do during my term is to make sure that my members get the respect they deserve from their employer, the governor of the state of New York. I know that John and his administration and all of you will make sure that you all get the respect that you deserve as well. We worked with you side by side in the Rockaways during the devastation and the recovery efforts of Hurricane Sandy. We were there in the Rockaways. We saw your union there in the Rockaways, along with other unions. This could be an opportune time now for us to turn what is a tragedy into a positive for the union movement. Because right now, no one would say, we don't need government. Everyone would say, of course we need government right now. And of course we need the workers there. Workers like you and like my members that are not only suffered the devastation of Hurricane Sandy, but are there on the job every day and also using their nights and weekends to help out the larger union movement and the community. This is a signal that we have to give to these anti-worker, anti-government forces, and we have to stand united to do that. So my union members, some of them, have an attitude that we're a professional union and that we would not employ certain workplace tactics. That is not where we're going. That's not where my administration's going. That's not where the union movement needs to go. It doesn't matter what sector of workers you represent. We're middle-class workers. We're unionists. We need to stand together, one voice. And workplace actions should never be looked at as, oh no, those are blue-collar workplace actions. We're a white-collar union. We would never do that. No, and I told my members that at our convention in October. We will employ any tactics necessary to make sure that my members get what they need and to make sure that the union movement grows and stays alive, because we are combating such corporate mindset right now. As Vinnie talked about corporate greed, ALEC is something that is being funded by the Koch brothers. They were behind what just happened in Michigan. They are behind anti-worker legislation. We have to stand collectively because we cannot compare to the money that these people have. But when people come together, we can overcome any amount of money that they can throw. We need to stand together. Right now, we are not going to have a contract for 2.5 years. My members say to me, well, what are we going to do? We're still now facing another year of zeros. This contract that we took, 3 zeros, furloughs, higher health care costs, and gutting benefits that we had worked and fought long for, like our education and training money. They took away $17 million in our education and training money, and this is how the last administration got our members to agree to the second contract, because we rejected the first. Because they said, well, you'll be furloughed, but you'll get that money back. In 38 easy installments, they sold it that way at the expiration of the contract. But what they didn't tell the members is that they gave away $17 million to have that furlough money repaid at the end of the contract. So what I have to say to my members, I have to be honest with them, and I always will, and I have to say, look, there's nothing I can do about that contract for 2.5 years. But what I can say to you is, when we go and sit down at that table, we expect a negotiation, which means both sides are giving or both sides are taking, but it's not a one-way street like the last one was. So what members need to do, and that's what I tell them, is you have to stand strong. Don't say to me that you have to hurry up and get a contract because we ate 3 zeros in the last one. No. This administration is going to stand strong, and we are going to wait until we get the best contract for our members. And I wish, and I pray, and I hope, and we will do whatever we can at PEF to support you to get the best contract that you can get and the contract that you deserve. What we can do in the meantime, though, is to stand strong and send our message out loud and clear. I want to share with you, for some of you that might not know, there's an AFL-CIO initiative, and it's called Work Connects Us All. There's 8 points to it, and I think it's very important that we embrace them, because this is the way we're going to bring the community together with us. We're going to further the labor movement. Redefine unions as people who work. We are not seen as workers right now. Sometimes we're not even seen as people. They talk about that we are the ones that are responsible for the taxes going up. They don't act like we pay taxes as well. We have to tell our story, because other people are not going to tell it for us, and we need to come together to do that. We need to put our values into motion. We need to be a real community partner, and we need to build ladders to the middle class for all working people, because until we do that, until we send that consistent message out that we don't just care about ourselves, we care about the larger community, people are going to look at us as those people that have higher wages, that have health care, that have pensions, and they're going to continue to want to have a race to the bottom. We need to send that message out to the community that says, no, We worked long and hard for what we have, and we don't just want it for ourselves. We want every working person to have good wages, health care benefits, and pensions. We have to get that message out. We have to be innovative to do that. You heard Vinny talk about we need to use social media. We absolutely need to do that. We need to do anything we can to be creative and innovative to get our message out, because we cannot compare to the money that these corporations are going to throw at tearing us down. The other important thing we need to do is we have to stand up for the public, and we have to provide good and high quality work. It's so very important that we get that message out to our members. Be proud of who you are, be proud of what you do, and make sure that the public knows we are value added. Every day we go to work, we are value added for the community, and we need to say that again and again and show that again and again. We have to help the workers prepare in advance for the jobs of tomorrow, and we have to collaborate to solve problems. Right now, in my union, we're facing a university hospital closure. Brooklyn needs University Hospital. Brooklyn needs this hospital to remain a public hospital. This is part of SUNY right now. And what is happening is that a bad business decision to merge with Victory and Litch, which already had financial problems, has now sought to bring all three hospitals down. And so what is the answer that the governor and his division of budget is giving to the SUNY Board of Trustees? Cut the workers. Cut the workers. Break the union. They called in a consultant, and his recommendation that they are going to be voting on January 14th or 15th, the subcommittee meets on the 14th, is turn it into a private corporation because you're paying too high wages and too high benefits for the unionized workers. This is absolutely absurd. They do not care about the residents of Brooklyn. They need that hospital. They need those services. All they care about is the bottom line, the dollar. They don't care if the community's not getting the services they need, and they don't care if they're going to put people on the unemployment lines and break the union. So I would ask you, I will send the information to John. If you could give us some time on January 14th, the Board of Trustees will be meeting at the School for Optometry, and we will be there. I will demand to speak. I will have the AFL-CIO there, and we will be rallying outside. So if you have some time, please come and stand with us and let them know that the unions are united and that we are not going to stand back and let them shove bad public policy down our throats to take away vital health care services and to break the unions. The last thing that I want to leave you with is about political action. I'm very proud that the very short time we've been in office, we were very successful with our political action and the endorsements that we did. And I'm not saying that I'm necessarily proud of all the politicians, but the ones my union endorsed had to go through a rigorous process to show us that they already had a record of employing union values or supporting specific legislation that my particular union wanted passed, or if they were not incumbents, that they either had a history that showed that or that they had an agenda that said they would do that. But as Vinny said, it's not enough to just get them into office, although it's very important to be part of your labor council and to work on campaigns. It's more important after they get in there to hold them accountable. And this is what I've pledged to my members, and this is what I believe all unions need to do. You need to show in black and white that you are holding those legislators accountable, and that when they don't do what they said they were going to do, or they do something that is very detrimental to union members, like passing Tier 5 and Tier 6 of the pension fund, that we hold them accountable and that we put that out there. We're going to do something that will be like a wall of shame on the PEF website. And when these politicians do something that is shameful, we will tout that, and we will put that out there, and we will embarrass them, and we will make them know that they cannot just get elected and then hide under the cover of, well, this is what Speaker Silver told me to do, or this is what Skelos told me to do, or we can't fight the governor because he's too important and he has too much of a high rating now, it's 74%. We're going to show them that the workers, that the unions, and that people coming together will make sure that they do not get reelected into office, and that the time of the duration that they are in office will be a miserable experience for them, not for us. Thank you so much.